It's a sporting event that the entire country's been talking about. There's a buzz. It's the border battle. Tariff on ice. Kidding. Psych. We're in Costa Rica, a much better place to be for the Concacaf Champions Cup and a first look at the Whitecaps in 2025 as they take on Costa Rican giant in Saprissa from San Juan de Tibas. Have you been to Costa Rica before?
Never been.
Beautiful place. Even better when you come away with a first leg victory. We'll see if the Whitecaps can do just that here tonight. Gareth Wheeler alongside Jordan Wilson. I know you got excited, about that intro.
It was nice.
I want hockey references here. Okay?
I don't know if I'm going to give you many.
But that's the great thing about Canadian soccer and Whitecaps fans is they'll be watching this game tonight, supporting their team and their sport in this country. And a first look with the Vancouver Whitecaps under Jesper Sorensen. 5 teams have already been eliminated from the 27 in the Concacaf Champions Cup, including the Canadian Premier League duo of Cavalry and Forge. The MLS teams all in action this week. All were victorious, with the exception of LAFC, who lost to another MLS side in Colorado. The winner, Vancouver, Saprissa, over the 2 legs. We'll know in just over a week's time. We'll face the mighty Monterrey. It's a good stage, good competition, the 3rd consecutive year that the Vancouver Whitecaps have been in it, hoping for some more joy this time around. And the changes aplenty have come to this Vancouver Whitecaps team over the course of the offseason, including their manager, Vanni Sartini. We love you, Vanni. He is out. Jesper Sorensen in. Rios will help provide a little bit of depth in behind Brian White. Emmanuel Sabi, unfortunately, out for the next few weeks. And a familiar face in Jaden Nelson comes back into the fold in Vancouver. Stuart Armstrong was a peculiar one, was here and left before we knew it. Raposo's off to China, and Fafa Picault to Inter Miami. Now, looking at all this, you still got to think, okay, Vancouver kept the core together, yet these are the predictions according to MLSsoccer.com, Jordan Wilson. This is what power rankings are all about. We get fired up. How dare you? Or this team over that team. This seems a little bit crazy to me, though, Jordan. Vancouver Whitecaps, a playoff team, finished 8th in the conference last year, smashed the Portland Timbers, actually won on aggregate in the playoffs against LAFC. It was the away goals rule that sunk them in that. 14th? Can you try to explain what the experts were thinking?
That was mighty disrespectful. Almost the most disrespectful thing that was said tonight. The first thing being that you feel like I can only play 15 minutes in a professional game.
We'll save that for another
We'll
broadcast.
talk about it later. But 14th, put some respect on this Vancouver Whitecaps team. I think when you're looking at them, of course there are some players some faces that that have left the squad. But it's more about the continuity that they have, and players like Adekube, maybe players that could step up this season. This is the season for them to be their best. But to put them 14th, Wheels, mighty disrespectful.
What do you make of that? Because some quality players remain. I mean, Blackman, Veselinovic, Kubas, Gauld, Ahmed, White. Like, the spine of the team is still very strong. Very strong.
And I think this is a year for them to just make that step forward as a unit. Obviously, when a new manager comes in, you want to be your best self and play your best football. But there's more than enough in this squad, Wheels, to make playoffs, but also make a run in this tournament.
14th. They were 12th in expected goal differential last year. We're the best teams away from home in Major League Soccer. Completely disrespectful for me, and they've got it wrong. We'll leave the other Canadian MLS teams to the side for now, because let's discuss their new manager in Jesper Sorensen. Maybe a little bit of an off-the-radar pick by Axel Schuster for his first hire as manager of Vancouver Whitecaps. Let's hear the players and their first impressions of their new manager. Here is Ryan Gauld and Sam Adekube.
Yeah, it's been good so far. Obviously, like you said, there's a lot of change, and obviously with the new manager coming in and wanting to implement his own ideas and his own philosophies, it's been good to have that. I think it was like 3 weeks in Spain. A lot of training sessions, a lot of meetings to get his way of playing across to us, and we're all just trying to pick it up and adapt to it as quick as we can. But I think it was a really good 3 weeks, and you could see a lot of the way he wants to play in the performances we had in the games.
He wants to dominate the ball, and he has made the point to the fact that he wants to build off of obviously what we've done in the past, and I think we'll be seeing that in the first games. Obviously, things are not going to just start to be perfect right away. It's going to take time, and of course we have games coming up and fast, and it's going to be a long process, but we're all looking forward to it, and we're obviously looking forward to the new ideas he's bringing.
So we'll see if the Dane can be great in Vancouver. A manager that's been around for quite some time. He's 51. His last job was with Brøndby. He was obviously part of the coaching setup with Denmark at youth levels, under 17 through to under 21. I'm sitting next to a guy who played his professional football in Denmark. What do you know about Sorensen, and what can we expect from him as a manager?
Going to be defensively sound. Those principles are going to be there first. Obviously, in an ideal world, Sorensen is going to want to play attacking football, but he's a no-nonsense type of guy. Tactically, you're going to see Vancouver Whitecaps be compact tonight, but also throughout the year. And it's going to be no-nonsense defending. But then I think, on the contrary, Wheels, when they do go forward, he's allowing certain players that have been the staple for this Vancouver Whitecaps team, we're looking at two of them right there, to go out and express themselves and be dangerous and dynamic moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, the question is that the way to get the best out of this group? Clearly there's talent there, they're well-built, but is that enough? Can Sorensen bring to the table what's required for this team to take the next step?
I mean, that's $1 million question, right? I think when you're looking at Vanni Sartini, people that know him and watch this team said he did a more than competent job and like him. But Vancouver Whitecaps and staff and fans are feeling like they need to take a step forward. So this is make or break for him, right? To take that same group that Vanni Sartini had and just put them in a different level. And tonight's a good night to really start on that wave.
So Schuster and company hoping for those incremental gains on the field. I'll tell you this, Sorensen won't be able to touch Vanni Sartini in terms of off the field, in terms of his interviews. We'll hear from Sorensen in a minute.
I don't think he'll be going on stage with Nickelback.
Yeah, which would be a scene. 4 changes from the Whitecaps team that we last saw play competitive football, losing 1-0 to LAFC. Into the 11 comes Laborda. Nando gets a start over Vite. Vite is on the bench in central midfield. Interesting, a change of formation, a 4-3-3, venturing away from what Vanni Sartini liked to play. Rasko Veselinovic is 4th all-time in club appearances, and Ryan Gauld, one of the top players in all of Major League Soccer, leads the way for the Whitecaps. Let's hear from Sorensen ahead of his first game in charge of the Whitecaps.
For us, it will be to see if we can turn the game over to where we are at our best. We know Saprissa is a good team, and we know that they come out strong here, especially at home. But we'll have to see this as an opportunity and also go for our chances here.
What is the message to your players at the start of the Concacaf Champions Cup?
Yes, of course, that is a big and important tournament for us. And it's an opportunity for us that we should see it as an opportunity and go for everything, all the minutes we can.
The most important thing is to score in some way, thinking about the second leg at home.
Yeah, but that's too dangerous in my opinion. Today we're going to play the first leg, and we will be looking forward to try and see if we can come here and get a result, see if we can win. It will be difficult, but that's what we will try and do, and winning will make us have to score some goals, so we'll try and do that.
Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Nothing on religion, nothing on politics, no jokes. His shirt was on. He's got a long way to go. Great to hear from Sorensen, but a completely different approach. And it's a different approach when it comes to Ali Ahmed. Obviously a player that continues to shine with the Canadian men's national team. Last season only scored once and didn't have an assist. Now he's going to be playing in a much higher position under Sorensen.
Yeah, and Sorensen said that suits him. I asked him today, like, where do you feel? Actually, Oliver Platt asked him today, the Oliver Platt. Do you see him as a wingback? And he said, no, a winger. His 1v1 ability, Sorensen says he wants to see him higher up the pitch, taking on players, and he believes that he has the quality to go forward and create things. And I think that's also been questioned. When you asked Vanni before, maybe he thought the end product from Ahmed wasn't there. I think for this season, with all eyes on him, people have talked about a move. For Ali Ahmed, he just has to remember what got him there, Wheels. That hunger, that humility, the fact that he's down to earth and he just wants to get about his football and be about his football, that's what's going to take him to the next level. But tonight's that start to get things going.
24 right in his prime. If he can bring that Canada form to him to the club game, the Vancouver Whitecaps will be pleased at what he can bring to the table this season. No question, when Ryan Gauld's on the field, he's one of the top players on the field. I don't care who he plays against in Major League Soccer. 17 goals, 16 assists in 38 games across all competitions last year. Had 5 goals and 2 assists in the playoffs and simply was dominant. Do you expect him to pick up where he left off last campaign?
Absolutely, because you said it, Wheels. He's the best player. Most of the time he steps onto the pitch, he's the best player tonight. He can do things that other players can't. And I only played against him once in 2022, but you saw fantastic players play. But he plays at a different altitude, a different level, a different speed. He thinks differently. He thinks faster. And that left foot, oh boy, it is sweet.
Yeah, it's how he works with Brian White. If he's playing on the left, we'll see what that means, how the team shifts or builds around him. Well, you just wanted to be able to pick up those pockets of space and use the freedom and creativity and his superior ability to read the game that he always brings to the table. Let's talk Sam Adekubi, another Canadian men's national team player. Just couldn't stay fit last season, could he? Played 23 games, the 30-year-old did, but just over 1,200 minutes. That's going to be half the battle is keeping him on the field.
Yeah, like you talk about players and all of them would say, I want consistency. I want to make sure that I'm hitting an 8.5 every time you play. But Wheels, how can you get there if you're always battling injuries? So this is going to be his biggest test. It's not about his product on the pitch. You know that Sam Adekubi is going to be bombing down that left side, whipping in crosses. He's fit. He's fast. He has all the attributes to be a top left back in this league. But it's just about maybe taking the top off and not coming back too soon, making sure you're looking after your body and getting all those percentages. But that's where he needs to be. And tonight's that start was looking after himself to make sure he's always available.
I mean, Adekubi, so elite moving forward in attack. I mean, it's a 4-3-3, but I'm sure the team will shift and the three will play at the back, pushing Adekubi forward, Ahmed down the other side. It's a good combination to have. Much better than 14th in the MLS Western Conference table. You got to be kidding me. San Jose Earthquakes trade for a bunch of New England Revolution players, and they're like a playoff team. No chance. Saprissa's team tonight, they're currently 5th place in the Clausura, 3-3-3. Get this, they're the over 30 club. Alvarado's 35, Kendall Waston, the former Whitecap, 37, Guzman 35, Mora 32, Torres 37, Marino 33. And Fidel Escobar, the Panamanian player who's going to drop back and play in defense here tonight, he's 30 as well. This is a team that you could play in, Jordan.
I like this team. I like the squad. The plus 30.
Veteran savvy out there. What do I make about the expectations for the Whitecaps? Are you telling me that St. Louis or Portland Timbers are better?
No
Come on now.
chance.
We'll hear what the players have to say about that next as we count down to kickoff here in the Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer.
Save up to 33% on select Walmart brand products. She nods in approval and places the tuna in her cart. This lady loves her tuna. She questions the ominous voice above her. Oh.
From nutritious feed to 7 times omega. Enjoy the goodness of Nature Egg Omega Plus eggs. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
This isn't your first time flying to show support for your team, but it is the first time you use the wrong kind of paint.
It says here you could try mayonnaise.
WestJet, where your story takes off.
penalty area for Canada. Grosso towards goal, and it's in. Decent ball played back, redirected on goal, and D'Angelo makes a terrific save.
San Juan de Tibas, just north of San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose?
I do not. Is this on?
Yeah. By the way, beautiful place. Hot during the day, cool at night. Only about 19 degrees Celsius. So what about the expectations when it comes to the Whitecaps? With an offseason of change and an uncertain future. Let's hear from Ryan Gauld and Sam Adakubi on just that.
Obviously, there's been a lot of change in the club since I arrived, and we keep wanting to get better and to take the next step, progress further in the playoffs. And yeah, like you said, obviously with Vanni, we've done some really good things, like winning the Canadian Cup 3 in a row. So that side of it was really good, and the next step we have to look for is progressing further in the league, and we're all aware of that. The expectations are higher. We all demand more from each other and from ourselves to make sure that when we get down to the crunch time of the season, we're I would say making a better image of ourselves and just being as competitive as we can.
For club, it's just to build off the things that we've done last year. Of course, we know that we're Canadian Championship winners 3 years in a row, but we also know that a fourth is a big possibility, and that's something that we plan on doing. And then from a team aspect, we know what our goals are. Obviously, we want to get past the next round of the playoffs, and we believe that we have the squad capable to do that. Obviously, the coaches come in and brought new ideas, and we'll see how the season goes. But we obviously felt like we swallowed a bitter pill towards the end of the season with just the way the LAFC games went, and we know the challenge ahead, and we know MLS is getting stronger year over year, so it's not going to be easy. So we're looking forward to it. And then from an individual perspective, it was obviously a challenging year last year with just being in and out, but I trust the work I put in the off season, and I'm looking forward to having a strong year and being a part of not just club football but international football.
Wheeler and Wilson with you. That's the thing about this Vancouver Whitecaps team. There's some real top players in this side, and if it all comes together as planned, I think they can do some real damage. The other thing about the situation is last year their season was disruptive, having to play 2 home games away from home because they don't own their own venue. And now the club is put up for sale in December, leaving their future, well, very much in doubt in Vancouver, British Columbia. What do you make of how we should properly set expectations for this group with all that's going on around the team?
I think nothing really changes on the field. There's still a playoff contention side. There's still a side that always gets to the dance but doesn't push forward and really get to the dance the last number. So we're hoping that the players within the squad, they can just put things to rest. I feel like when you get ready and you're in the locker room and you see your brothers and you go out to play, all those other things subside, Wheels. We'll talk about it. People are going to say, is this club going to be moving from Canada to the States or wherever it might be? Who's owning it? Those are questions that will always loom around this club until we know. But as a player, your job is to take care of business. And you think about the personalities and characters within this squad, I feel like they'll relish the opportunity to make their name.
But is it easy? Is it that simple that you can compartmentalize?
I think so.
You can put your life over here and your professional ambition over here?
I think it's looming. I think it's in the back of their minds when you're off the pitch. But I think when you're at training, when you're playing, I think you get to enjoy what you do. Yeah. Like, you love playing footy. You get to do it every day. You get to do it in a city that you love with the brothers that you love as well. I think that stuff outweighs all the other stuff that they'll think about.
And over the short term, they're going to be in Vancouver. So, and everything changes so quickly in the world of football today that maybe that doesn't matter. Yeah. You know it's going to be talked about. It's going to be a narrative.
Agreed. And you never have the same team twice. Like 2026, they're not going to have the same exact team starting this moment. So you have to relish the opportunity. You have to take it while it's there.
Yeah, we'll see. Someone told me, and this is the best way that I think I've heard put it, for teams like Vancouver, based on what others spend, there's very little room for error. You simply need to get it right. So if Axel Schuster continues to hit home runs like he has with Ryan Gauld, then they're going to be all right. Casey Stoney started her Canada tenure with a 1-1 draw. Is that a good result?
It's not.
I saw people say it was a good result.
It's not.
We'll see if they can progress from there. Saturday against Mexico, Canada against Chinese Taipei. On Tuesday afternoon, the Pinatar Cup. not to be confused with the, come on, Pat Benatar Cup karaoke. It's right here on One Soccer. Counting down to the top of the clock, we're just about ready to see Vancouver for the first time in 2025. It's Saprissa, Vancouver Whitecaps, first leg of the Concacaf Champions Cup.
Save up to 33% on select Walmart brand products. She nods in approval and places the tuna in her cart. This lady loves her tuna. She questions the ominous voice above her. Oh.
Degree 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree keeps working when others stop.
Absolute beauty from Tristan Borges.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
A guy like this, who relies on his truck for work, knows that his truck will take care of him if he takes care of his truck. And WeatherTech has always been the ultimate protection. From floor liners to no-drill mud flaps to tech liner for your truck bed to bump step, to the handy under-seat storage system. And Cup Phone keeps phones secure in any cup holder. Order your ultimate protection today at weathertech.ca.
The Champions Cup is different. We had a different experience with when we went to downtown Honduras. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be the easiest. We know it might get a little chippy. It might get a little nasty. And yeah, it's different, especially when you go away. I think we got to be prepared for that. It feels just much different than the league. So I think we're prepared for that. It's good that we have the experience of Honduras under our belt. So I think we understand what it'll take, and I think we'll be ready for it.
Back-to-back-to-back Canadian Championship winners, the Vancouver Whitecaps. Do you know who couldn't complete the three-peat, Jordan Wilson? The Kansas City Chiefs. Go Birds! The Whitecaps, in their last two visits into this competition, quick exits. LAFC was a powerhouse when they played them in 2023. Last year, Tigres. It's a much more comfortable draw. At least it should be for the Whitecaps this time around, taking on Saprissa in Costa Rica. Wheeler and Wilson with you. All right, Jordan, what do you expect from the Whitecaps here tonight?
I asked Jesper Sørensen, like, what's the game plan? How are you feeling about tonight? And he just said, obviously it's our first game, and it's tough having a cup competition being the first one that matters. But it's about the intentions of the players, like how they respond, how they react. I think that's going to be a staple about how you're moving forward, right? What's your attitude like when you move the ball?
Oh, my
goodness. Homeboy's ready to play. This is something special.
Is that a dragon?
This is something special.
No, it comes out of the monster's cave.
But no, you look at this team with Vancouver Whitecaps, it's about that, right? How they respond and how they go forward. And being a first leg playing away, you can't just sit back, and you already spoke about that, right? You have to find the balance of going forward at the right times, but protecting what you have as well.
Yeah, perhaps some of the fact that the Whitecaps are younger, more athletic, can move against this older Saprissa side is mitigated. Well, 37, 35. I mean, these guys are older. Like Kendall Waston was a thing for the Whitecaps like a decade ago, right? It's great to see him back on the field. And I mean, they should just be more comfortable in their skin this time around. I thought they played great in the playoffs last year, so they know what it means to play in knockout or home and away ties like this. They should be comfortable.
Absolutely, Wheels. But also, I think it's the intricacies of this game as well. A lot of it will be football and tactics, but the other bit is the Concacaf part of it, right? Like how players are fouling, all these different things. And that's going to be new to Jesper Sørensen. Like he talked about different regions and different countries having a different style of football. being Costa Rica, playing your first game, this is going to be different for the Whitecaps. So they have to find the moments to weather the storm.
To him, though, but these players have been there,
Very true.
Done that before. They play Portland Timbers on Sunday, and I'm assuming that Sorensen's going to be mindful of minutes, especially with some of these players, where it's paramount that they're able to stay healthy for the duration of 2025.
I think stars like Ryan Gauld is seeing 60 minutes today. Maybe Sorensen is just hoping that that game is 1-0, 2-0, obviously, but the best players will be yanked out because Sunday's a big game to start well.
Yeah, I think that they might be... The issues with the Whitecaps might not appear tonight, but they might still be a little bit thin in certain areas. Sabi's an intriguing player. Jaden Nelson's certainly going to need to step up. I look at the midfield specifically. Kubas, Vite, top players. I thought Berhalter made a big step forward last season, but if they're going to play this way in this system, they might be a little bit thin in that area. Any thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with you, but I would also say, looking at this team and even speaking with members of the coaching staff and that around the club, it's those type of players, a proposal, you're talking about Berhalter, to take more of a leadership role and play significant minutes. In the past, the big dogs played, and kind of the young players are like, you'll get your burn when it's time. But now those young players aren't so young anymore. They have to go and show their worth.
Got to be honest with you, I was a little bit surprised when looking at Tony Bet, the line for tonight's game. That
disrespectful. Another
Saprissa, who are favored in this one, the bookmakers' favorite. I mean, I know you want to set yourself up well for the second leg, but I think this is the game that the Whitecaps can win tonight.
I said on OST on our show 3-0 for Whitecaps.
3-0?
But
wow.
now I've dropped it down now to 2. I think this is a comfortable 2-0 win if they play to their potential and take care of business.
In the words of the great character called Goldmember, I like gold! If Ryan Gould's playing, I'm going to back him to produce. Him, White Gauld, that combination.
Shaq and Kobe, baby.
They're going to make some noise tonight down in Costa Rica. All right, our first look at the Whitecaps here in 2025, and the Costa Rican crowd cannot wait for it. Never mind flipping the channel tonight. This is it. This is what Canada's been waiting for. It's like one, Saprissa, Whitecaps. It's Jenkins and another Eagles fan, John Conway, on the call. Enjoy it. Canada will be back at the half.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by WestJet.
This isn't your first time flying to show support for your team, but it is the first time you use the wrong kind of paint.
It says here you could try mayonnaise.
WestJet, where your story takes off.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by Volkswagen.
Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? Who cares for what you've got if you're not having any fun? Are you having any laughs? Are you getting any loving? If other people do, why can't you have a little fun? And have a little fun.
From nutritious feed to 7 times omega, enjoy the goodness of Nature Egg Omega Plus eggs. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by Allstate.
At the Monsters Cave in Costa Rica, the 3-time defending Canadian champions open up their 2025 campaign up against a Saprissa side who are titans of Costa Rican football and a consistent powerhouse in Central America. Away from home to begin their 2025 Concacaf Champions Cup. It is, of course, the first match for Vancouver under their new coach, Jesper Sorensen, and it's also the first of 3 matches in just a 7-day span. The preseason training in Marbella went by swimmingly by all accounts, but this is where it starts to matter. Not quite do or die, but a very important first match of the campaign for tournament, for a competition that the Vancouver Whitecaps as a club and their supporters would like to see more success in. And more success, well, that's the theme for 2025. It was the message from Axel Schuster when beloved coach Vanni Sartini was told his services were no longer required because it's time to keep raising the bar at BC Place. Well, tonight, a much easier start to the Champions Cup than the Canadian champions had last season when they were up against a mighty Tigres side. And, well, their beginning, middle, and end happened in 2 legs. They're on a much better side of the bracket here in 2025. You can say the optimism, well, it should rightfully be a whole lot higher in this edition of the tournament, though their opponents today, they have similar feelings. It's been a bit of a lackluster start to their season, currently outside of the top 4, which is completely unheard of for Saprissa. Sure, it's early, but a statement could be made tonight in front of the raucous supporters at one of the neatest venues in all of Central America. It's Adam Jenkins, an MLS Cup and Canadian champion. John Conway in the broadcast booth with you this evening. Great to have you along with us on One Soccer, ladies and gentlemen. It feels a little bit like a second screen or split screen viewing night. We completely understand. You can use both of your ears, one for the puck and one for the football. John, let's talk about the round ball. And this is a big night for the Whitecaps. Everyone wants to impress the new coach. The supporters want to see what the new philosophy is. And this is a very strong Vancouver Whitecaps starting 11, considering the fact they have a Cascadia Cup clash in just about 72 hours' time.
Yeah, it's excellent night for football down in Costa Rica. It's a tough place to play. And obviously, Vancouver fans are going to be really anxious to see what the new coach brings, the new ideas, and see how those come to life with this group. So it's going to be real interesting tonight how that plays out.
The Concacaf Champions Cup anthem, followed by starting 11s and team news here on One Soccer.